What's going on, guys? My name is Jake, and welcome back to Gax Reviews. So today, I'm introducing a new series to this channel here. We're going to be doing some quick movie reviews, and if you've seen my other movie reviews, you know what my style is kind of like through them. This is going to be like that, but condensed. I'm going to be talking about 3 brand new movies that came out within the past 2 weeks here. I've got An American Pickle, I got Host, and Project Power, which just dropped today on Netflix. We're going to talk about all 3 of them, but before we get started, I want you guys in that comment section below. Have you seen any of these movies? What did you think about them? Let's have a little discussion going into these. So let's go. American Pickle. The film follows a Jewish immigrant in the 1910s who accidentally pickles himself in brines and wakes up in the modern world. And right off the bat, you're probably going, what the hell is that premise? And this is a brand new film that dropped on HBO Max last week. Stars Seth Rogen as both the immigrant, Herschel, and the modern day version of himself, like his family. I forget his name. But really, I love how this film was a lot more heartfelt than I was expected. And if you've seen a lot of more Seth Rogen's more films recently, you'll know that he's kind of going that direction, not just full-fledged comedy, stoner comedy like he did with Pineapple Express and Superbad, those types of movies, but more of a thematical, heartfelt message to it. And I really like how stylistic this film was. Brandon Trost, the first-time director, did a really good job at bringing that. The first 30 minutes of this film was great. I really loved how it was the aspect ratio, and I loved how he was exploring the 1910s, and it looked really good too. And when this film goes into the modern day, it really feels like it's at its best when Rogen and the other Rogen are friends with each other and teaching Herschel about the world that he is now in. However, when this film turns on itself and goes Rogen versus Rogen, and it began to lose itself and what it was doing, and it lost me, unfortunately. And I feel like it was kind of trying to be 8 movies at once, and it really didn't work for me overall. It was 90 minutes. It felt a lot longer than 90 minutes, and it felt like once it made that Rogen versus Rogen feeling, it just didn't feel like it knew what it wanted to be at that point because it just bounced around all the time. The humor didn't really hit for me, but there still is a really good performance by Rogen here. 2 dual performances by him. Just overall, I feel like if they stuck more towards what they had in the first 30 minutes and less what they had towards the end, I felt like it could have hit a lot more, and ultimately this feels like it's just a very a very unmemorable film that unfortunate for HBO Max's first film, and I'm going to give An American Pickle a 2.5. And next up we got is Host, which follows a Zoom call with a group of friends who want to speak to someone that they've lost in their life. This is a little film that not a lot of people know about. It dropped last week, and it's not really a feature-length film, but it's 55 minutes, which allows it to be... it feels like it could have been a lot worse than it was, but I was completely struck by this film. It's in the same vein as Unfriended and Searching. If you've seen those, it's kind of that computer horror feeling, and it was shot completely on Zoom during the pandemic. And one thing I loved about this film is that it utilized the pandemic in such a clever and real way that it felt like you were part of it too. And like everyone else, I've used Zoom during this pandemic, and it's been a way to keep into contact with my friends. And I just loved the little Easter eggs they did with it, especially towards the end where the Zoom call was running out for the not the premium version of it. I just love that type of thing. And the horror throughout, it's really well done. And is it the most original thing you've seen? No. Have you seen all this stuff before? Probably. If you've seen Unfriended, you've definitely seen them before. But I feel like it was so skillfully handled that it still was very intense throughout. And for a film that's only 55 minutes, they did a really good job at introducing these characters. You got a hold of what they were like, and just seeing how they unfortunately went one by one, which you'll know if you've watched these types of movies, that's how it goes. I just thought it was a really fun time, and honestly, this is a huge shock for me, and I think Host is probably the best horror film I've seen this year, which is wild. But again, if you've seen Unfriended, don't go in expecting anything massively different, but expect a well-helmed film and a really short film that feels really fresh, that you will enjoy. And I'm going to give Host a 3.5 out of 5. And finally, we got the brand new film that just dropped on Netflix today called Project Power. What would you do for 5 minutes of power, as the tagline says? And this is a really cool premise. It's another superhero movie, which Netflix seems to be dabbling a little bit in too much recently. We got The Old Guard last month, and now we got Project Power this month. But this features Joseph Gordon-Levitt. We haven't seen this guy in years, and I know he did a little indie film earlier this year, but this is really the first big-budget film he's been in a long time, and I loved seeing him back. I love him as an actor. He hasn't missed a step. He's really good in this film as well. Jamie Foxx is also really good in this, who I'm a little bit hit and miss on Jamie Foxx, but I think he helmed the film really well. And again, it's a very interesting premise for a superhero film because it's a little bit different Basically, it's a pill, and you take the pill and you have powers for 5 minutes, and it's different for each person. Each person has a different power, and I really loved exploring all the different powers throughout the film. Unfortunately, it does feel a little bit conventional, and it follows a lot of the conventions and cliches that you expect in a superhero film. In a film like this, it goes everywhere you're trying to go, and it's got that cheesy one-liners. As well, the story is just very exposition-y, and it's just people talking about it the whole time. And it honestly felt pretty lazy overall, but I enjoyed it. Like, sometimes you just have to look at a film for what it is, face value, that it's going to be an action film, and it's going to be cliche, it's going to be that, but as long as it has parts around it that you enjoyed, the action's helmed pretty well. These are by the directors that did Nerve a couple years back, which I really liked, and they helmed a really good film there, and I think it's pretty good. It's disposable, but it's watchable. The CGI is kind of iffy at the beginning. You can push past that because they use less CGI towards the end, but the ending sequences are really fun. I love the last 30 minutes or so just exploring that boat train. What am I talking about? Exploring that boat. I think it's a fun action film. Don't go into it expecting the best superhero movie you've ever seen. If you're kind of sick of superhero films, you could probably skip this one. It's not going to do much for you. But I'm going to give Project Power a 3. So that about wraps up for my quick reviews. I want you guys in the comment section below. What did you think about this format? Should I keep doing this format in the future? I think it's a good way to condense some films I want to talk about. And I'm going back to the movie theaters. Tonight is the first night I'm going to be seeing Inception in theaters. I'm super excited, yet a little nervous to be headed back. I'm thinking of doing a vlog style, capturing my first day back at the theater, so watch out for that coming in the future. But other than that, I want you guys to just hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit that like button, that really helps me out on the road to 100 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for subscribing, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.